Did you know that some of the highest viewed movie recaps on YouTube are about relationships that cross forbidden lines? Audiences are completely transfixed by international films that dare to go where mainstream Western studios simply won't. While Hollywood sticks to safe, predictable formulas, these international directors push the absolute boundaries of obsession, control, and dangerous chemistry. In this video, we are diving into global cinema's most provocative stories. From shocking secrets to manipulative mind games, here are 13 forbidden relationship movies too intense for Hollywood. Number 1. Last summer. Imagine a relationship so provocative it threatens to completely dismantle a family's perfect life. In this intense French drama, a highly successful defense lawyer named Anne takes in her husband's rebellious 17-year-old son, Theo, from a previous marriage. What begins as an uneasy living arrangement in their beautiful suburban home quickly sparks into a passionate, completely forbidden affair. Anne, who spends her professional life defending minors and navigating the law, willingly throws all ethical boundaries out the window. The film shifts into a suffocating psychological chess match as the stepmother and stepson engage in mutual manipulation. As Theo begins to realize the immense power he holds over her career and social standing, the dynamic morphs into a high-stakes thriller. Anne is forced to deploy her sharpest legal mind and manipulation tactics against her own family, just to keep their dark secret permanently buried. Number 2. Queen of Hearts. This gripping, critically acclaimed Scandinavian thriller exposes the absolute destruction of a nuclear family from the inside out. Anne is a dedicated, successful lawyer, happily married with 2 young daughters, specializing in representing victims of sexual abuse and trauma. However, her picture-perfect life fractures when her husband's estranged teenage son, Gustav, moves into their luxurious home. Blinded by a sudden, reckless midlife desire and a thirst for control, Anne initiates a secret, highly predatory relationship with her own stepson. The affair quickly spins out of control, transforming their home into a minefield of tension. When Gustav threatens to tell his father the truth, the film turns into a terrifying look at institutional power. Anne completely flips the narrative, using her professional skills to gaslight her family and systematically destroy the boy's credibility and mental sanity just to protect her own flawless reputation. Number 3. The Handmaiden, a breathtaking historical thriller from South Korea that uses an incredibly complex heist plot to frame an intense, secret relationship. Set during the 1930s Japanese occupation of Korea, a young female pickpocket named Suki is hired by a charming con man to become the personal maid of a wealthy, isolated Japanese heiress, Lady Hideko. The goal of the scam is simple: help the con man seduce Hideko, marry her, commit her to an asylum, and steal her massive fortune. But the entire plot completely fractures when the young maid and the isolated heiress develop a genuine, highly passionate, and deeply intimate bond behind closed doors. As they fall in love, the movie delivers jaw-dropping plot twists where both women must play a double game of deception against the men controlling them, turning a story of exploitation into a fierce, dangerous alliance for ultimate freedom. Number 4. Lust, Caution. Directed by Ang Lee, this historical espionage thriller features one of the most intense, dangerous relationships ever captured on film. Set during World War II in Japanese-occupied Shanghai, a young, idealistic drama student named Wang Chia-chi joins a radical resistance plot to assassinate Mr. Yi, a powerful and ruthless political collaborator. Her mission requires her to transform herself into a sophisticated married socialite and lure him into a passionate affair. But as their secret encounters become increasingly volatile, dark, and deeply emotional, the line between her fake persona and her real feelings completely vanishes. Yi's terrifying brutality is matched only by his absolute vulnerability around her. They become locked in a claustrophobic psychological trap where a single slip of the tongue means instant death, leading to a devastating climax where love and political loyalty collide. Number 5. Damage. Jeremy Irons and Juliette Binoche star in this devastating, heavy drama about a highly respected British politician named Stephen Fleming who meets his son's enigmatic new fiancée, Anna. From the very first moment their eyes meet at a crowded party, a catastrophic, highly addictive physical affair begins. Stephen is a man who has lived a perfectly ordered, passionless life, while Anna is a woman carrying dark, unspoken past traumas. Knowing that discovery will instantly destroy their entire family, they continue to meet in secret in rented flats, driven by a dark, magnetic physical obsession that borders on madness. The film is a haunting, brilliant examination of how a single, forbidden relationship can systematically ruin multiple lives, proving that when an older man surrenders his sanity to a younger woman's mystery, the emotional fallout leaves absolutely no tragedy and forced identity theft that completely recontextualizes their bond. It is a sleek, disturbing masterpiece that will completely shatter your concept of what a relationship movie can be, exposing the absolute extremes of human obsession. Number 7. The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. This groundbreaking German masterpiece features an all-female cast and takes place entirely inside a single, lavishly decorated apartment room. Petra von Kant is an arrogant, highly successful fashion designer who treats her submissive assistant with cold cruelty. However, Petra's life is turned completely upside down when she falls madly, obsessively in love with Karin, a beautiful, much younger woman who wants to break into the modeling industry. Petra promises to use her wealth and high social status to launch the girl's career, but the dynamic quickly morphs into a cruel, highly toxic cycle of emotional abuse. Karen easily manipulates Petra's desperate infatuation, constantly threatening to leave her. The film strips away all societal politeness to expose the rawest, ugliest parts of human dependency, jealousy, and shifting power dynamics within a forbidden romance. Passion, societal boundaries, and unspoken desire. Number 9. Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. Another highly provocative classic from Spain, this dark romantic comedy drama stars a young Antonio Banderas as Ricky, a recently released psychiatric patient with a childlike worldview. Ricky becomes instantly, single-mindedly obsessed with Marina, a B-movie actress and former adult film star. Convinced that they are destined to be married, Ricky decides the only logical way to make her love him is to break into her apartment, tie her to her bed, and force her to get to know his true heart over several days. While the premise sounds terrifyingly dark, Almodovar uses it to explore the bizarre psychological phenomenon of trauma bonding and forced proximity. Marina slowly begins to see past Ricky's unhinged behavior to his deep loneliness, tracking a deeply taboo, controversial dynamic that challenges the audience's moral boundaries at every turn. Number 10. Ella. Isabelle Huppert delivers a powerhouse, fearless performance as Michelle LeBlanc, a fiercely independent and cold businesswoman who is violently assaulted in her own home by a masked intruder. Refusing to play the victim or go to the police due to her family's dark criminal past, Michelle decides to secretly track down her attacker herself. When she discovers his identity is much closer to her personal social circle than she ever imagined, she doesn't run away. Instead, she enters into a shocking, highly volatile psychological game with him. They initiate a secret, consensual, and deeply twisted relationship that completely blurs the lines between revenge, control, and a strange, deeply taboo physical attraction, making it a thriller that mainstream Hollywood wouldn't dare touch. Number 11. Breaking the Waves. Directed by Lars von Trier, this emotionally devastating drama pushes the boundaries of marital devotion and faith to a shocking psychological extreme. Set in a deeply religious, isolated Scottish community in the 1970s, a naive, deeply emotional young woman named Bess marries Jan, an experienced older oil rig worker. When a horrific offshore accident leaves Jan completely paralyzed, his mental state fractures. He becomes obsessed with the idea that his physical recovery depends on Bess seeking physical intimacy with other men and reporting the explicit details back to him. Believing her actions are guided by a divine mission to save her husband's life, Bess surrenders herself to increasingly dangerous and degrading situations, offering a highly controversial, heartbreaking look at love, psychological manipulation, and ultimate sacrifice. Number 12. Double Lover. This mind-bending French psychological thriller follows Chloe, a fragile, deeply unhappy young woman who falls in love with her handsome, gentle psychoanalyst, Paul. They eventually end their professional therapy sessions and move into a beautiful apartment together. However, Chloe soon discovers that Paul has been hiding a massive, dark secret. He has an estranged, identical twin brother named Louis, who is also a psychoanalyst, but possesses a completely different, aggressively dominant, and manipulative personality. Chloe begins booking secret therapy sessions with Louis behind Paul's back, leading to a surreal, hypererotic double life. She becomes caught in a psychological tug-of-war between the two identical brothers, completely unraveling her grip on reality as the film descends into body horror and deep subconscious manipulation. Number 13, The Housemaid. This sleek, dark South Korean psychological thriller exposes the extreme toxicity of wealth, lust, and class dynamics within a modern household. Yoon-yi, an innocent and naive young woman, is hired as an au pair and housemaid for a hyper-wealthy, highly influential family expecting twins. She quickly becomes the target of the wealthy patriarch's desires, leading to a secret, passionate relationship behind his pregnant wife's back. When the family's cold, calculating mother-in-law discovers Yoon-yi's subsequent pregnancy, the elite household turns into a terrifying, abusive force. They deploy psychological warfare, physical cruelty, and institutional power to force an abortion, leading to a dark, operatic tragedy that exposes how the ruling class views a lower-class woman as nothing more than a disposable object.